Final Word Daily, take 2 after someone, I'm not naming names, but it was me, forgot to hit record. We're only a minute in, so it's fine. I'm Cameron Punsby, I'm joined by Jeremy Coney. This show is brought to you by Visit Victoria. Now, to use the same gag I used a minute ago and got an authentic laugh, I'm going to now try and get a fake laugh out of Jeremy. He's crying off the 30-second summary, so it's going to be down to me to do it. Yeah. And I can do it. I'm ready. Count me in.
He's good, though. He's good. Ready?
Yeah.
Clunk.
What are we doing here? New Zealand, take your catches. New Zealand dropped 6 catches. 4 times they dropped Harry Brook, who goes on to make his 7th Test century. Ollie Pope, what are we doing here? You don't want to be England's Test wicketkeeper. You don't want to bat 6. Don't score runs. Don't be ridiculous. He got a very nice, very composed 77. England finished the day 319 for 5. They're not that far behind. They've only got 5. They've still got 5 wickets left in hand. It's advantage England. And I would say, I very, very, very rarely say this about a professional cricket team. I thought New Zealand were a bit bad. What do you think, Jeremy Coney?
Yeah, I'm pretty unhappy about the fielding, certainly, to drop that many catches. You can't offer someone as of the superior quality of someone like Harry Brook. You can't drop him four times and give him 5 innings. I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it? So it's not surprising he got his 7th 100 today. Played in between those opportunities, he played very well. New Zealand started the day, lost 29, 28 or something like that for 2. Southey did his typical Southey thing. 3 men out on the boundary. First ball from cast, short, whacked it straight to one of the 3 of them. Off he went after playing a big drive down the ground for 4. So he's done that. He's slightly disappointing, I'd have to say, because he's quite a capable hitter actually, but he has never been able to get the Southey out of his mind, the hurt, the injured Southey, and the prospect of it. And so he plays very, very aggressively and gets himself out. O'Rourke came out, however, and supported Glenn Phillips.
He did get 0.
And got 0 off 13,
Yeah.
but it didn't matter.
True.
Because he was out there. Phillips, in the meantime, got himself through to 58. So New Zealand got to 300 and whatever, and then New Zealand came into bowl with a lot of cloud around this morning, and really the situation was that it nipped about, it swung. Southey got movement, so did Henry, but off the seam, and made it difficult for the England openers, didn't they?
They did indeed. England was 45 for 3, and this is. I think from an English media perspective, I was thinking this when we were sat in the press box. I was like, we're going to have a lot of Harry Brook written up today, like 7th Test century, is a fantastic record, improves. Isn't this wonderful? England are fighting back from being 45 for 3, and they've taken their opportunity. And I just can't shake the feeling that this is a Test match that New Zealand are losing rather than England are winning. New Zealand were 199 for 3 yesterday and then conceded 4 wickets to the spin of Sherwood.
2 opportunities, both thrown away.
And then today, 45 for 3. It was difficult this morning when England were batting. New Zealand were bowling very, very well.
Very well.
It was a case of like, blimey, we've got a chance here where England could be up 150, 160 all out. New Zealand could really get ahead of the game. But they've just seem to let these opportunities slip. I've got a cultural reference for you that a friend wanted me to interject.
Okay.
Hook and Knight. Are you familiar with the Glory Gardens books?
No.
Well, they're kind of cult classics in the UK.
Right.
Storybooks about children playing
this
cricket.
This didn't work for you, did it?
Does it
really that well? But never mind, carry on.
That's fine. But and so Hook and Knight is the captain, becomes the new captain of the team.
Right.
Drops 4 catches in their first game.
Right.
And they go,
was he a left-hander?
Weirdly, he was a left-handed, occasionally kept wicket.
Yes.
So opened the batting, and it was a case of he actually then gave up the captaincy just to be able to. I'm not saying Tom's going to do that, but it just felt a little bit kind of cursed for New Zealand today. But I don't want to only focus on New Zealand. Do you want to do more New Zealand being sad, or do you want to do something?
No, that's fine. The only thing I would say about New Zealand today, from my perspective, we had a new bowler today called Nathan Smith.
Absolutely.
And he looked really useful. 138 sort of Ks around about. That's getting up for your 4th seamer. It's normally been Colin de Grandhomme, and that's the kind of role that New Zealand would like him to play. He can bat as well, but his bowling looked much better than Colin de Grandhomme, I thought, today. He could bounce people out. He got Root out just before lunch on the stroke of lunch. So, I mean, that was very useful, and that was a bonus for New Zealand to see that. First time I've seen him bowl. I thought O'Rourke after lunch also, bowling at about 146, 147 k's, so you're up to 90 miles an hour. Very useful, good bounce, strong action, getting through the action, created all sorts of opportunities for New Zealand really, and in the end bowled about 15 or 16 overs and was still bowling in the 140. So those two bowlers I thought looked really useful for New Zealand.
Let's do that. Let's go through kind of England's innings chronologically, because then you get the good and the bad of the day.
Right.
So Zach Crawley falls very
LBW.
early. LBW, 12 ball duck. Matt Henry, they had the ball seaming around.
Yeah.
And so Jacob Bethel, the 21-year-old who's never batted at number 3, comes into bat at number 3.
It looked reasonably calm and composed, I'd have to say. Was being beaten, but was doing okay.
Can I put a phrase to you?
You can.
I thought Jacob Bethel didn't look out of his depth, but he did look out of place. I thought, I can see the quality that England are speaking about here, why he's such a player that England are so excited about. But he was on 1 off 26, and it just looked like, hey, batting 3 against the ball seaming round with high quality bowlers, really difficult.
Yes. Played and missed as you would expect he would. Got himself to 10.
Yep. And then Nathan Smith, who wearing number 10 on debut, I like that. I'm surprised number 10 was
Debut to debut.
Debut to debut.
Yep.
He manages to bowl a beauty to Jacob Bethel. That just takes the outside edge through. It's the last over before lunch. Then, as Jacob Bethel's walking off, they go, pause, hang on, wait a second.
Yep.
Nathan Smith might have overstepped.
As he had.
And there's a tension. It's like, whoopsie, this is not good. First wicket's going to be wiped off. No. He keeps his foot just behind the line. He then bowls 2 no balls, I believe.
To Root. Interesting. I thought it was perilously close to lunch.
Yes.
And I wondered whether Root should have come out. He was very quickly onto the park. Quite often, in the last over prior to lunch, if a wicket falls, you take lunch. It's lunch.
That's what we were wondering about. So do you reckon Root could have been a bit street smart here?
Absolutely.
Kind of
well, in his 150th, yes.
Yeah.
He could be.
He could be.
But he wasn't.
He wasn't, so he came out. But I wonder if that would have made sense. If the wicket falls before exactly 1, is he then forced to come out?
No.
No, so he could have waited.
2 minutes. You got 2 minutes.
Wow. So what we're saying is, Root, learn the game. Come on. Have a think. He comes out. Nathan Smith bowls 2 no balls to him, but then he bowls 1 legal delivery, I think, so it's a 2 ball duck for Root. He then gets Root to manage to chop on, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, after Smith's first over went for 10, and you go, whoopsie, this could be a bit of a nervy debut in the making. He finishes the session with 2 for England, 45 for 3.
New Zealand on top.
New Zealand on top.
Correct.
Then we get Harry Brook at the crease with Ben Duckett. Ben Duckett gets caught on the hook. He's had so much success with that shot, so I will not kind of put any dampeners on him going for that, fine, whatever. And then we have the kind of key partnership of the day. We have Brook and Ollie Pope.
Correct.
How did you find Ollie Pope went? Because Ollie Pope is kind of blessed and cursed. When he bats well, he's busy. When he bats badly, he's frenetic when he's doing the same thing.
Well, a little bit frenetic at the start, wasn't he?
Yes.
And I think that's nothing unusual for Ollie Pope either. But at that stage also, what had changed was the cloud it was starting to dissipate, and so we had sun coming through.
Yes.
We had the better conditions of the match really right through that second middle session of the day, and things got easier and easier. And Pope and Brook, despite the little chances that they were giving along the way, and they weren't particularly difficult chances, I'd have to say. However, they survived them, nothing to do with it, not their fault, and they managed to really push together a very good partnership.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did it get easier, or did New Zealand just drop their chances? So Brook was dropped on 18, 41 in the 60s and then on 106. So you go, batting got easier, but actually it was maybe a case of just 2 batters were on 40 rather than being earlier on in their innings. If New Zealand had held on, so I think it was Glenn Phillips at Gully dropped Brook on 18. Later took one of the greatest catches ever. On 41, I think he was dropped. Oh, there's so many.
Well, Latham.
He was dropped by Latham.
Yes.
That slip over his head.
Yes.
Then he was dropped by Conway on the boundary.
Yes.
Off Glenn Phillips, his bowling, and then he was finally dropped by Tom Blundell. But it was given as leg buys.
Yeah.
And so had he caught it and reviewed. It's very confusing. I hope you're keeping up.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
That's fine. But I just I couldn't work out whether it had got easier for batting, or actually it was a case of just like New Zealand have dropped their chances, and it was as difficult as it had been. It's just they weren't getting new batters at the crease.
I think actually the bowling didn't diminish.
Okay.
Catch after catch after catch.
Yeah.
An opportunity went down. I thought just at the fielders, I don't know why, this is quite a good seeing ground. And if you do have difficulty, your job as a fielder is you find your way that the background allows you then to be able to see and give you the best chance and an opportunity. And so that's just quite a very well-known kind of maxim, if you like.
Is that
That's tautology.
Never
mind.
I love tautology.
We love it.
How do you? Is there a way you can make it so you can see better?
Yes, it is. You shimmy around. If you've got a bad eye line there, and you can think, there's it slightly lighter that way, I'm going to move to this way, and I might create a little bit more of a gap, but at least I can see the ball.
So you're kind of manufacturing your own sight screen.
Absolutely.
Oh, look, we teach you things on the final word. I've got a theory.
What?
I don't think Ollie Pope wanted to score runs today. I think that was a bad decision from him.
Why is that?
My hypothesis
Yes.
is if you're ever being asked to do a job you don't do,
Yes.
do it badly.
Right.
If you're asked to do the washing up, water a little bit too cold, leaves the plates a tiny bit greasy. You want to leave people with the impression that you're a good man for being willing to do the job people don't want to do, but you're not the right man. Ollie Pope does not want to
Washing and batting six?
Very similar.
Okay, all right.
Very similar skills.
Excellent example.
I was cutting. So Ollie Pope, he's got a question mark next to him about batting number 3 at the moment. He's shuffled down for this match because it's like, well, we don't want you to think about 2 things at once.
Is there an element of protection there?
But I don't,
because he actually selected the number 3 for himself in Pakistan, where you stand up behind the stumps all the time in the heat, and yet he still wanted to bat 3.
And he's done brilliantly
but
well
not
there.
here.
So in 6 innings, he's kept wicket in 4 matches. He's had 6 innings. He's passed 50 in 4 of those matches.
Yep.
He averages 56. And I just think I don't think you want to be giving other people the opportunity to do your job for you. If Jacob Bethel plays well, then all of a sudden you're giving, in the decision space where we've got this wonder kid who we think is amazing, and he's actually doing really well at 3, let's kind of potentially keep him there.
Yep.
Ollie Pope has now shuffled down to 6. By the misfortune of his own competence, he has kept very tidily. He's batted very well, and they go, you know what? Why don't we, rather than bring Ollie Robinson in to give a debut, the keeper, Durham's keeper,
at the basin, we'll use Ollie Pope.
Use Ollie Pope again.
Okay, and Bethel again at 3.
Leave Bethel at 3 because it gives us a chance to give him 5 more chances over the series. Then we cut to India next year when England next play Test cricket, and they go, Pope was actually quite good in the middle order. It seems to suit his game. He's a shot maker, he's a stroke maker. The ball isn't moving around as much. You know what? Let's just shuffle everyone up 1. Root, you go back at 3. I know we're making leaps here, but this is what we're doing.
No, you're making leaps,
I'm
not
making
we.
Leaps. I'm very good at making leaps.
Sorry,
I'm excited because I think you're going to tell me this is the stupidest thing ever, and I'm ready for it. And then all of a sudden, Ollie Pope has elected to be basically the number 6 batter, which is almost by definition the batter of least responsibility, which is by definition the batter most vulnerable to being replaced. I think he's moron. He should have got 30, got out, and been like, he had too many things going on. Let him go back at number 3. I take it you agree wholeheartedly.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. And so stupid.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Right.
No, that's great. So generally the day, have we got towards the end of the day by now?
We have got to the end of the day. I thought you were going to kind of build on something.
No,
there,
I don't think so. I think the one delivery I think that would concern New Zealand would be the one actually from Glenn Phillips.
Oh yeah.
That really turned and really bounced, and it was quite high and it was turned around. But if there was a man there at leg slip, there would have been a catch.
Why is that concerning New Zealand?
Well, with Bashir, for example, for the I mean, at the moment. England are 29 behind. There's a new ball coming in 6 overs. So that's the next opportunity perhaps for New Zealand. Let's see if they can hang on to the ball. If chances are there tomorrow, but if they don't and England continue to push ahead, they've got some quite good batting ahead really, with Stokes still there at this stage. You've got
Atkinson, Cast.
Absolutely. And Atkinson's already got a test 100. Cass has got a first class 100, I think, hasn't he? Anyway,
he's got a couple.
so there are the possibility of having some good lower order partnerships are there. And in the meanwhile, Harry Brook's still there. So
Oh my God.
there is an opportunity for England to get well ahead, with New Zealand having lost the opportunity twice of being really in a dominant position in this match. So
the Black Caps.
that's where we are at the moment, and England have taken advantage of it, and so they should.
Right, we're going to move on to the Hall of Fame. This show is brought to you by Visit Victoria. And if you're listening through your ears, we're going to go for a little ad break. Hey, we're back. It's amazing how that works. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame. Do you want to go first, Jeremy?
I would. This morning, when Glenn Phillips was playing and facing Wokes, he got a little outswinger, and said he played wildly at it, and missed and got beaten. "Oh, you weasel!" was heard audibly around the entire ground.
Very good.
Yeah.
It's a double whammy of Glenn Phillips today, because the catch that he took in amongst New Zealand's the kind of incompetence, he managed to take one of the great catches. I hate that phrase, one of the great. I find it's overused, and I've just used it. But it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
It certainly was. I mean, the gully position is a position where you need to be able to dive, and he was a keeper.
Hates wicket-keeping.
And now hates it now. Loves bowling, and leapt to his right. And also behind himself, one-handed, went to his right hand, which is the better one, I guess, seeing he is right-handed, but a wonderful catch. It's just a lovely, lovely moment, wasn't it, really, in the game?
It was an absolutely spectacular catch. Ollie Pope
out.
kind of cursing his luck. He's like, well, actually, probably, he might have saved him. He might have saved him. If he scored 23 more runs, then he's England's keeper forever. Leaps to his right, one-handed, spectacular. I've always found, I remember asking Glenn Phillips for an interview, I don't know, about a year ago, and it was about like how people like practice and how people prepare. And I know, because I've seen him practicing his fielding, where he runs in and he does in the ring, and he goes like however many one-handed pick up his throws, right hand, however many one-handed pick up and throws, left hand. In his bowling, he's just bowling all over and over and over again. And so I know he practices these things, and I was like, mate, can I talk to you about your preparation? He was like, no, I don't really practice that much. I was like, that's a lie, Glenn. That is a lie. But anyway, so that's today's show. England are in the ascendancy, in no small part because New Zealand kind of keep dropping the ball. That's my takeaway. I've been Cameron. Jeremy's been Jeremy. We'll be back to see you and speak to you again tomorrow. It's been brought to you by Visit Victoria. See you then.
See you later.
Lovely.